They're all left-wingers out there, left of Lenin. At least that's what people think, but that's not really the case. There's a lot of conservative people, a lot of moderate people, Republicans, Democrats in Hollywood. It's just that conservative people, by the nature of the word itself, play a little more close to the vest, and they don't go around hot dogging it.
Clint Eastwood isn't just a Hollywood legend, he's a straight shooter. Over the years, he's made some bold moves, often exposing the darker side of Hollywood, which caused some big drama. But what was the impact of these decisions on his career and legacy? At the 1973 Oscars, Clint stole the spotlight, marking a big moment in his career.
I don't know if I should present this award on behalf of all the cowboys shot in all the John Ford westerns over the years.
That night, Marlon Brando refused his Oscar for The Godfather, and Native American activist Sacheen stepped in to speak about Hollywood's unfair treatment of Native Americans.
My name is Sacheen Littlefeather. I'm Apache, and I'm president of the National Native American Affirmative Image Committee. I'm representing Marlon Brando this evening, and he has asked me to tell you in a very long speech, which I cannot share with you presently because of time, but I will be glad to share with the press afterwards, that he very regretfully cannot accept this very generous award. And the reasons for this being are the treatment of American Indians today by the film industry. Excuse me.
The atmosphere was tense, but Clint didn't shy away from sharing his thoughts.
Go ahead, flip the card, man. I'm still here. They all have something in common. They're all concerned with the human dilemma and our confrontation with the fates. Human beings engulfed in a lunatic dictatorship. Men brutalized by their fellow men in a hostile river. Families ripping up their old roots and hoping to plant new ones. And quite different families, too, who seek to prove that morality can exist within immorality.
This statement caused some drama back in 1973, but not quite like it does today. While only a few people laughed at his joke at the time, the story has made a comeback nearly 50 years later, starting a fresh backlash. However, Clint Eastwood isn't the type to back down.
You know Clint Eastwood well. What did you make of what happened tonight?
Well, listen, I think it depends on which side you're on in all of this. Obviously, people are going to try to find negatives. If you're on the left, you're going to try to find negatives about the night. If you're on the conservative side, you're going to enjoy all the things as they were intended.
Clint comes from a time when people didn't overthink every word, and a joke was simply a joke. He's also made it clear that he doesn't pick political sides, choosing instead to stay open to different perspectives.
Clint Eastwood harshly criticized the Hollywood actors and revealed some insane insights about what is going on behind the doors of Hollywood. The things that Eastwood revealed about how people treat each other and the terrible things that they are doing are insane. Then Eastwood mocked Hollywood actors and shared stories of how he was treated very unfairly by actors and very famous Hollywood celebrities when he was not that famous in the beginning. This is an interesting story.
But that one moment isn't the only reason Clint remains a target of woke culture. For decades, he has criticized political correctness, saying it takes away from Hollywood's authenticity.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what's a movie tradesman doing out here? They're all left-wingers out there, left of Lenin. At least that's what people think, but that's not really the case. There's a lot of conservative people, a lot of moderate people, Republicans, Democrats in Hollywood. It's just that conservative people, by the nature of the word itself, play a little more close to the vest, and they don't go around hot dogging it.
Clint's legendary career, with classics like Dirty Harry and Unforgiven, has created his image as the ultimate tough guy. Beyond his on-screen roles, his strong and no-bullshit views have kept him in the public eye. Let's review one of his most iconic comments that perfectly showcases his no-nonsense attitude.
I don't think it's nice, you laughing. You see, my mule don't like people laughing. It's the crazy idea you're laughing at him. Now, if you apologize like I know you're going to, I might convince him that you really didn't mean it.
Clint Eastwood's movies like Unforgiven, $1 Million Baby, and American Sniper broke the rules and dug into real human stories. These kinds of bold, honest films used to define Hollywood, but now they're disappearing as the industry plays it safe to avoid upsetting anyone.
I grew up in a neighborhood with lots of different types of people, a lot of different nationalities, and along the way, because I moved a lot, I was born in the Depression, and so I moved a lot, and I knew a lot of people, and I always enjoyed the differences. And I think if people enjoy the differences in everybody, then they are willing to, to have fun with it. We used to have fun with it. We'd insult each other and laugh and scratch with it, and it was not a bad thing. People didn't take themselves that seriously at that point in time.
Clint has been vocal about this shift in the industry, openly criticizing how directors are increasingly avoiding risks to follow popular trends. He strongly believes that movies should portray reality, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult to see.
He's an actor's director. He has a real understanding of not only the craft, but of the people.
Clint wants the truth. He wants the raw, simplest, unrehearsed version of you, and that leads to good acting.
He gets what it is to be human. He captures it, and he heightens it, and he makes people feel and think. He's so special.
Clint's 2020 film Richard Jewell challenged popular narratives once again, focusing on the story of a man unfairly abused by the media. The movie showcased his commitment to telling important stories, even when they go against Hollywood's mainstream trends. Clint's resistance to Hollywood's political correctness goes beyond his films. It's part of his identity. He's built a reputation for being unapologetically himself, choosing to live by his own rules, in a world where many are very careful and afraid of saying the wrong thing.
The Depression and then World War II coming along, and everybody didn't have time to look inward and start getting all kinds of phony ideas.
He's not concerned with following trends or appealing to the so-called woke crowd. He's focused on telling stories that actually matter because they're real and valuable.
What is it about these hero stories that attracts you as a director and as a person in general? Why do you want to tell these stories of the real heroes?
I don't know. They just came that way. There was no plan. I'd like to say it's a big plan, and I had a big vision, and I can give you a lot of BS about it, but it really, there was no plan. They just came that way. Somebody called me one day and said, would you like to do American Sniper? Then Sully came to the office as a screenplay. And I remember the visual of looking out and seeing everybody standing on the wings and everything, and it told such a great picture.
A great example is Gran, Torino, where Clint plays a combat veteran who learns to connect with his Hmong neighbors. The film tackles tough conversations head-on, making it all the more powerful. His character's blunt honesty mirrors Clint's own approach to life. He's not focused on creating perfect characters. He's driven by a desire to capture the raw and real essence of the human experience.
I think that the story is the king, and everything else is interpretive art around it, actors and directors and all the other things that go into it. So what makes a good Western is just a really good story. And how well you tell it, of course, is really important, and who plays in it, and if you cast it properly. I'm also a big proponent of casting a film properly, regardless of genre. If you cast it really well, and people fit the parts, and it captures the imagination, I think you're halfway there, or more than halfway there.
Even before Gran Torino hit theaters, it could have easily been labeled as too controversial. But Clint wouldn't have it any other way. He's never shied away from talking about hot topics, regardless of how the woke culture might react.
And he was in a mood at that time. He says, I don't want to do any more violent pictures. I'm tired of it. I've been involved with a lot of them. He says, I'm really tired of it. And I said, I know exactly where you're coming from, but read it again, because I think we can make a great statement against violence and killing if we do this right. Of course, it's all in the execution. You got to execute it right, or else nothing means anything then.
At 94, Clint is still directing films with the same determination he's shown throughout his career. His unique approach has earned respect from younger actors who admire his dedication to telling stories with depth and authenticity. And he's still going, even if he faces some hate.
He and all the other cast of Rawhide are on their horses, and they're supposed to do something. They have a conversation, and that whole build-up to action would make the horses go like this, and they had to stir him around. And so one day he said, in his indomitable way, "Is there any way that you could just tell us to go instead of saying action, so the horses won't flee?" So one guy did it once, but they love the action.
Well, that's amazing.
So there you go. What's it like working with Clint? He treats us like horses.
While most people are too scared to speak their minds, Clint Eastwood keeps speaking up. He won't be silenced and keeps calling out Hollywood's bullshit. The industry might try to push him out, but Clint's sticking around. He's got more to say. So what do you think? Is Eastwood a legend of the past? Or is he the voice Hollywood needs today? Let me know your opinion in the comments. If you liked this video, I'm sure you will like this one too.